Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Senior Safety Advice Podcast. This is the show that is dedicated to helping older adults stay safe, confident, and independent at home. I'm your host, Esther Kane. I'm a retired occupational therapist, certified aging in place specialist, and a dementia care specialist, and I am so glad that you're here with me today. If this is your first time tuning in, then welcome. And if you've been listening for a while, well, thank you so much for coming back. It really does mean the world to me. And of course, to Robin, the co-host of this podcast. Before we dive in, I'd love for you to visit seniorsafetyadvice.com. That's where you'll find more tips, resources, and episode extras. And if you're enjoying this podcast, then please subscribe, share it with a friend or family member, give us a review, like it, and comments. And of course, check out our YouTube channel as well, because our podcasts are also broadcast there along with other videos. Today, we're going to be talking about something that feels really simple, but is actually very important, especially in the summer months. I'm talking about air conditioning versus fans. Which one is actually safer for older adults? Is having a fan, be it a ceiling fan or an oscillating fan, is that ever enough? And when does heat become truly dangerous? Now listen. This isn't about scaring you. It's about making sure that you have the right information so that you can stay cool and stay safe and feel your best all summer long. All right, now let's start with something that I hear, all the time. People say things like, Esther, I've been using a fan my whole life. I'm fine. I don't need the air conditioning. And I get it. I understand that. But look, fans are familiar and they're affordable and they use less electricity. And for a lot of years, they did the job just fine. But here's the thing. As we get older, our bodies change, and those changes affect how well we handle heat in ways that most people don't realize until something goes wrong, sometimes terribly wrong. So today, let's talk about what's really happening inside your body on a hot day, what the difference is between a fan and air conditioning, and what you can do to stay safe, no matter what cooling option you have available. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is this. Your body's cooling system isn't as efficient as it used to be. I know mine isn't. When you were younger, you sweated more easily. Your blood vessels responded faster. Your brain picked up on heat signals more quickly. But as we age, and this is true for most people 65 and older, all of that starts slowing down. You may sweat less. You may not feel thirsty even when you're dehydrated. And here's the one thing that surprises a lot of people. You may not even notice when you're getting too hot. In my years as an occupational therapist, I worked with many older adults who truly didn't realize how overheated they had become. They felt a little tired, maybe a little off, but they didn't feel hot in the way they expected to feel hot. By the time they recognized something was wrong, they were already in trouble. That's why this topic matters so much. So let's talk about fans. Are they safe? Are they helpful? The answer is, like most things, it depends. And that's not me being, wishy-washy. It genuinely depends on one critical factor, the temperature outside. When it's below 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside, a fan can absolutely help. Moving air creates what's called a wind chill effect. It helps sweat to evaporate from your skin, which cools you down. That's real, that works. But when the temperature climbs above 95 degrees, which can in a lot of places during the summer, and if you're in tropical areas, sometimes throughout the year, especially when it's also humid, a fan stops cooling you. Instead, All it does is it circulates hot air around you. It's like opening an oven door and standing in front of it with a hairdryer. The World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control have both noted that fans can actually increase the risk of heat illness when temperatures are very high. Your body is trying to cool down by sweating, but the hot air blowing over you just makes it harder for your body to do that. Now listen, I'm not saying to throw out your fan. A fan is still useful for circulating cool air if you have air conditioning. It's helpful during mild warm weather, when it's 90 degrees outside. And it's very helpful at night when the temperatures drop. It can be just fine during that time. But on those really brutal summer days, when 95, 96, 100, 105, a fan alone is not enough to keep you safe. And that brings us to the topic of air conditioning. Air conditioning is the single most effective way to prevent heat-related illness in older adults, period. The research on this is very clear. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. When your home is air conditioned, or when you spend time in an air-conditioned space, your body doesn't have to work as hard to stay cool. Your heart rate stays steadier, your blood pressure is more stable, your kidneys can do their job, and your brain stays clearer. Now, heat affects thinking. Seriously. A lot of older adults feel confused, foggy, or, just off, not right, on very hot days, and they assume it's just aging. But sometimes it's heat. I remember visiting a patient one summer, a sharp, vibrant woman in her late 70s. This was down in Fort Lauderdale. She called me because she was having trouble remembering things and felt unusually fatigued. And at the time, I was her current therapist, her home health therapist. When I arrived, her apartment was stifling. She had a fan running, but no air conditioning. Now, once I got her cooled down and hydrated, she was back to herself within an hour. Heat is very sneaky like that. It creeps up on you. It is not worth the amount of money you may save on the electricity bill for your health. If finances are truly very, very difficult, then consider going somewhere during the day that is air conditioned and then coming back to your home in the evening when it's a little cooler. And please don't leave your pets in a hot environment. If you're not going to turn on your air or keep it very hot, please make sure to keep your pets as cool as they need to be. All right, so what do you do if you don't have air conditioning or if your electricity bill really is such a big concern? Okay, let's take a moment to talk through some real practical options because I know not everyone has central air and I know utility bills are genuinely hard for a lot of people. Okay, cooling centers. Most communities have them. I'm talking about libraries, senior centers, churches, shopping malls. These are public spaces that are air conditioned and open to everyone. On dangerous heat days, many areas open dedicated cooling centers specifically for older adults. Call your local area agency on aging or your city's senior services line to find out where yours are. And hopefully you're close to one. Second, if you have a window unit or a portable air conditioner, use it strategically. You don't need to cool your whole house. Cool one room, ideally the room where you spend the most time, and stay in that room during the hottest parts of the day, typically between noon and 6 in the evening. Third, your local utility company may have programs to help with cooling costs. Many offer low-income assistance, budget billing, or even free or reduced cost air conditioning units for seniors. Hey, it's worth a phone call. You might be surprised what's available. Fourth, keep the heat out. Close those blinds and curtains during the day. especially on the south and west facing windows. This alone can drop your indoor temperature by several degrees. And then open windows at night when it cools down. If it cools down. I know South Florida does not cool down, so please be cognizant of that. But if you live in an area where it does cool down, open them at night and close them in the morning before it heats up again. And fifth, stay hydrated. I know you've heard this 100,000 times, and I've been repeating it all month, but your body cannot cool itself properly without water. And consider electrolyte infused water. Speak to your physician about that. Aim for water throughout the day, even if you don't feel thirsty. That lack of thirst sensation that I mentioned earlier, that's real. You need to drink on a schedule, not just when you feel like it. Now, let's talk about the warning signs, because I want you to know what to watch for in yourself and in the people that you care about. Heat exhaustion is the earlier stage, and it's very treatable if caught in time. Signs include things like heavy sweating, weakness, dizziness, nausea, headache, and cool or pale skin. If you or someone you're with has these symptoms, get to a cool place immediately. Drink cool water and use cool, damp cloths on your neck, wrists, and forehead. Heat stroke is the emergency. Now, this is when the body's cooling system has completely failed. Signs include a very high body temperature, hot and dry skin, confusion, slurred speech, or loss of consciousness. This is 911 situation. Do not wait. Now, one of the most important things that I want family caregivers to hear is this. Check on your older loved ones during heat waves. Don't just call, go by if you can. Touch the air in their home. See if it feels dangerously warm. Older adults are not always going to tell you that they're struggling. In fact, a lot of them don't. Now, there's one more group that I want to speak to directly, and that's people living with dementia or other cognitive changes, and the families who are taking care of them. If you're caring for someone with dementia, please know that they may be completely unable to recognize or communicate that they're feeling hot. They may resist drinking water. They may not understand why the room feels uncomfortable. This puts them at significantly higher risk during heat events. Keep their environment cool, keep offering fluids in small, frequent amounts, and watch their behavior for signs of agitation, confusion, or unusual fatigue, because those may be the only clues that you get that something is wrong. Now, I want you to know a fan is a tool. It's a very useful tool, but it has limits, real limits that matter when the temperature climbs high. And I'm talking about 95 and above. Honestly, at 90, I would cut it off at 90 and do air conditioning. Air conditioning is the safest option for older adults on hot summer days. If you have it, use it. If you don't, look into the community resources in your area. Make a plan before the heat arrives. Don't wait for it to arrive. And please, check on each other. Check on your neighbors. Check on your friends and your family. A quick phone call, a visit during the heat wave can literally save a life. A visit is better than a phone call, honestly. You deserve to be safe and comfortable in your own home, and you deserve to enjoy the summer without fear, and with the right information, you absolutely can. All right, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me today. It genuinely means a lot. For more tips and resources and episode extras, then head on over to seniorsafetyadvice.com. That's your home base for everything we talk about here on the podcast. And if you're looking for senior care services or aging in place specialists, home safety professionals in your area, then check out aginginplacedirectory.com. It's a wonderful tool that we're building to help you find the right support. If this podcast has helped you in any way, one of the biggest ways you can support it is by subscribing, leaving a review, liking the episode. Those simple actions may seem small, it may only take a second, but they really do make a huge difference. They actually help the podcast reach more people, especially family caregivers and older adults and the professionals who may need this information and support right now. And honestly, your support helps me continue creating these episodes every single day. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for helping me and Robin to spread this message to others who may benefit from it. I'm Esther Kane. Stay safe, stay cool, and I'll see you in the next episode.